Thinking of buying your first home here in New York City? In this video, we're going to share with you the 3 items that make up your closing costs. Coming up. Hi, this is Kai with the Kai Wong Team, helping you better understand everything you need to know about New York City real estate. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Tim Allomong. So Tim, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I am a New York City real estate attorney.
Okay.
I represent buyers and sellers of residential and commercial real estate. Typically the transactions that I'm working on involve co-ops, condos, single and multi-family homes, and buildings.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here. Today I want to talk to you about closing costs that first-time home buyers will need to pay for when they're purchasing the property. A lot of them, they're unaware. They're just thinking, oh, I want to buy the property, I have a down payment. So let's talk about what some major costs are involved in purchasing a property. What's number one?
Sure. So off the bat, I always tell my clients, don't be afraid to ask your attorney for an estimated closing statement. Even if you haven't even gone to look at a property yet, it takes me about 5 minutes to put together an estimated closing statement based on your expected transaction purchase price and your loan amount if you're financing. Beyond that, I tell people there are generally 3 things that you want to consider in terms of thinking about your buyer's closing cost. First of that is being your universal cost.
Okay.
Your universal cost is they're going to be with you whether you're purchasing a co-op, a multifamily home. Everyone should expect to pay them. The first one is going to be your attorney's fee. Obviously, we know in New York that every real estate contract has to be negotiated by an attorney. The second one are either your lien search if you're purchasing a co-op, or your title fees, which you're purchasing a condo or a real property, such as a home. Your title charges for a real property is going to include a title search. It is going to include your title insurance policy.
Yes.
And if you're financing, it also includes the lender's title insurance policy. It's important for people to understand that if you're purchasing a co-op, you don't have as many title charges as if you were purchasing a condo or real property. The final closing cost that's universal is the mansion tax. If you're purchasing anything above $1 million in the state of New York, then there's an additional 1%. So the universal closing costs you have are, first of all, your attorney fees. Every New York State real estate contract has to be drafted by an attorney, so this is going to be your attorney's fees. You're also going to be paying financing bank fees if you are getting a mortgage.
Yes.
And if your property is over $1 million, then you'll also pay a 1% mansion tax. So for example, if the purchase price on your condo is $1 million, then you'll spend $10,000 on your mansion tax.
So what's number 2?
Number 2 is the closing costs for condos and real property. Real property being single multifamily homes. So you have your universal closing costs that we discussed. You also have your title fees. Title fees include your title search. They're going to go into the county records office, search for judgments against the seller. That is something that would have to be paid off at closing.
Okay.
So after you have a clean title report, then the title company will issue you a policy, and your lender too, if you're financing. So that's another closing cost for condos and real property. If you're financing, there's going to be a little bit extra, but that's your title fees. After your title fees, you also have to pay a mortgage recording tax in New York if you are in fact financing, right?
Yes.
So if the mortgage is below $500,000, then the mortgage tax is 1.8%. If it's $500,000 or above, it's 1.925%. Okay, so once you've accounted for your mortgage tax and your title fees and your universal fees, then one subset of closing costs that pertains specifically to purchasers of new development condominiums. There's a subset of closing fees that the buyer traditionally picks up on behalf of the sponsor. So that would include the sponsor's attorney's fees, the sponsor's transfer taxes, and then they would also pay for a working capital contribution to the building and a reserve fund capital contribution to the building, as well as a portion paid towards the building super's residential unit.
Yes.
So there's a whole host of other closing costs for a new development, and that is a traditional New York style transaction.
Yeah, and that's why it's really important when you're starting out on the search to either talk to a lender or the attorney to get an estimate in terms of what the closing costs would be before you find that dream property.
Right, it never hurts, and also you should not be afraid to ask your attorney for an estimated closing statement up front.
What's the third item on the list?
The third item is reserved for co-ops. So New York, we're very heavy into co-ops, and for that, it's worth talking about what some specific co-op closing costs are for purchasers. Generally, it is a little bit cheaper to purchase the co-op. We all know that, right? So instead of your title charges, you're going to just pay a lien search fee. A lien search is about $400 or $500. You don't have to pay a mortgage tax. You don't have to pay any recording fees or for title insurance. So a co-op, you kind of can scratch all those fees, but you do pay for your lien search. You do pay for a Aztec recognition agreement review by the co-op's managing agent. It's a couple $100, but this is what I'm saying is it's a lot cheaper to buy a co-op.
Yes, definitely, in terms of closing costs and also the purchase price.
Absolutely. Your maintenance fees will be a little bit higher, but that's only because the building itself is using that to pay for their underlying mortgage and their real estate taxes.
Yeah, it's always been the case where the condo price might be a little bit higher, but your monthlies are a little lower, versus co-ops, it's a little bit lower, your purchase price, but your maintenance fee would be a bit higher too.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a give and take.
Yep.
I think it's really important for the buyers to be aware of all these fees, especially going into the purchase, not just when you're signing contracts, which a lot of times, unfortunately, they're not aware, and it creeps up on them.
Oh, absolutely. Especially the mansion tax. A lot of people forget about the mansion tax.
So thank you so much for the information, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you found the information helpful. If you would like to have other questions answered in a future video, please share with us in the comments below. If it's your first time here, consider subscribing. On this channel, we share with you buying and selling tips just like this one, market updates, and neighborhood guides as well. So hope to see you in the next video. See you soon. Bye.